Almost time. Getting close.
Getting close.
7 o'clock. Would you please rise, remove your hats, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball. All right, we do have a quorum. And we have minutes of October 21st. Any additions, corrections? Pleasure of the council.
Move to approve.
I've got a motion to approve the minutes by Mr. Nguyen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Phillips. Other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are passed. Start on with the public meeting with the IWRQ Community Development Software.
Best way to say it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I come before you tonight with a presentation to hopefully help modernize our town government. Company that we're looking to work with is called iWorks. I'm going to have Superintendent Lofton come up and help me do this presentation. We do believe that this program will benefit every department. In fact, all the departments believe in it so much that the utilities are willing to pay the annual cost of $24,200, and then each department has agreed to pay the startup cost and share the expense of $828 apiece with fire, police, parks, planning, town manager, and the clerk treasurer's office.
Is that $828 monthly?
No, that's a one-shot deal.
Okay.
That's the startup fee.
What's the maintenance? No monthly, no
No,
yearly?
it's $24,000 annually. And like I said, that'll come out of the utilities. The utilities have agreed to split it with $7,100 to water, $7,100 to wastewater, and $10,000 for stormwater, because stormwater believes that they'll get the most use of the program. We also believe that there'll be a great deal of planning aspect from it. There are, you going to step up here at any time? Excellent. What our big thing we were looking at the modernization is that this is going to give our citizens the ability to be more interactive with the town government. They'll be able to go online if they have a complaint about a pothole, yard not being mowed, trash in someone's yard. They can file that complaint online. It'll immediately go to wherever it needs to go. It starts a clock. As soon as that department head opens it up, the person will get an email that your complaint's been received, it's under review. We'll have the ability to actually clock in from the field and explain to the homeowners or the complainant that this is what we're doing. We're actually on site right now. We're repairing this pothole, or we're giving them 30 days to mow, whatever the case may be. There's provisions for planning as far as being able to submit blueprints, and there'll be some blueprints we're still going to have to take. Obviously, large businesses, box stores, things like that, we'll need to see those. But other than that, like I said, I'm going to let Barry talk about it. Like I said, I think it's a program that all the departments can utilize.
And we've had a couple of meetings about iWorks, and from stormwater standpoint, there's what's called 6 minimum control measures for our Clean Water Act to IDEM. And all 6 of these minimum control measures, we have to meet requirements annually, biannually. These will keep me on task, plus their electronic reporting. If I go through and submit all these electronically, it's instant. Building permits, this year I think we're up to around $60,000 on revenue for building permits alone. That has nothing to do with water taps or sewer tap fees. That is strictly building permits only. So a lot of this is going to be geared towards that as well. We also report to the county on building permits because that actually has an effect on tax dollars. So the more information, the better information we can give them, the better our tax base is going to be, because it's, actually it's really accurate compared to what is being constructed. And that report will go to them attached to the parcel. So it's really helpful from us submitting plans and things like that to the county. That's not to mention wastewater, water department, public works, asset management for vehicles, asset management for miles. You know, it's pretty much all encompassing, and it touches every single department. But the planning and building module of this is probably the biggest. But you also have, which Mark was mentioning, the code compliance with our zoning ordinance. So it's a really good program. I actually went to Plainfield and Avon. They currently use this program. They had nothing but good things to say about it. They did say that it's what you put into it, and since we have all the department heads buying in, I see a lot of effort making this the best that it can be. So it's going to be really helpful. And none of the fees that none of this came out of the general fund. I want to mention that as well. All this is basically coming from revenue from the utilities. And none of it's even coming out of the building permits, because when we started doing this, it was too late in the budget year to try to capture some of those dollars from the building permit fees to add to this. So in the future, I can see it going down. If our growth goes up to the cost of the utilities, it can be directly related to building permits and those fees. So we have figured out a way to pay for it. It's a really awesome program, and it's going to streamline everything. If you want to do a building permit online, you can. And then it goes, it'll come to me, and then I can pass it on to water, pass it on to sewer. Everything is much faster. It's a little bit more convenient for everybody too, especially the person that is applying for that permit. They get instant gratification that, hey, they've submitted their permit. It goes around the horn. We all sign off on it. They come in and pick up the permit. So it's really streamlining. And that's just one phase. The whole program works like that. So everybody I've talked to that has this program really likes it. So, and we really thought that they were the top tier as far as how it fits our needs.
So you've looked at other.
Yeah, I actually went to Avon and sat down with somebody that was on their computer, and they kind of walked me through the whole process of how they would do permit, starting from A to Z. So I think they also use it for public works. I didn't see how they use that.
You in trouble there.
I just want to add a couple of things that I think's good about it. It's cloud-based. We talked to them about storage. So anything that comes in, plans, documents, it's going to be stored. You can go out there and get it. It's not like we have people calling in now saying, do you have my plot plan from 15 years ago? Well, so it's all going to be fairly easily accessible. Other thing
That price includes storage in the
yeah,
cloud.
That's what I was going to say.
So there's no extra cost, no extra load to our servers
Right.
to store that information. So that information is going to be there as long as we have this program. This price is guaranteed for as long as we continue it. It doesn't go up.
Okay, so I see that you have an annual total of 24,200. Get that. Setup training and system configuration is another 5,800, so the grand total is actually 30.
That is correct.
And that 5,800, is that going to be divided?
One-time fee.
Okay.
That's our initial setup.
That's the one that I talked to you
The other departments at
Yes, sir.
850?
about.
Okay, all right. Clarification on that. And who's going to be the point person for this? There's got to be,
There will be. Assume that depending on what it is to.
Oh,
If it-
you're talking about to manage the entire program.
Who's
It'll
gonna
be
man-
our office. It'll be basically a 300.
all right, good. And you mentioned that 5,800 also includes training. Is that for just the department heads, and then they'll trickle it down, or is that a key person? Or is that for any user?
Any user that can log into this will be able to call and get answers
Yeah.
if they have questions. It is unlimited support.
And are we just looking at department heads initially getting this access, or is this going to be any of our personnel?
Personnel, because there's going to be people that'll have as much use for it as we will. Line locates, parks for their asset management. I mean, this truly is just,
Pushed out to their, so they can access it when they're in the field?
The other thing is, and this is kind of getting into the detailed part of it, but it's important as far as from what we look at as the software, the mapping that we have now with Beacon, it's a direct overlay. So we'll be able to import our maps with our utilities onto this program, and we can make it to where only people that have login credentials can see those maps. I know some of that stuff we don't want them to see, the public to see, because it is Department of Homeland Security reasons, so, but it is going to be user for everybody that has a login credential. And that's determined by the department head. So, you know,
we can limit who sees what.
right.
With Superintendent Russell, that was one of his issues, is that, you know, the public not have access to what our waterways look like.
Questions from the council?
All of the department heads or all the superintendents feel comfortable with this and see the impact and the value of this within their departments? Alan? Big deal. The Public Works.
Ray's on vacation this week,
Ah, lucky dog.
but they're all buying into it literally. It's coming out of each one of their individual budgets, so they believe in it that much.
His benefit
They're all
will
splitting
truly
it.
be the work orders, as potholes, whatever come in. Even if Mrs. Piercy's office takes a call from someone on a pothole, they automatically, you know, if they didn't want to go online, their staff will send it to Public Works, and again, the clock starts ticking right then. So they'll be able to do work orders and things, even if, well, let's say Barry has an oil change that he needs done on his commission, he can run that through as a work order.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's really
Leaf-
good maintenance
Yeah,
program.
it's got
Leaf
great-
pickup, dead skunk pickup, sidewalk projects?
Anything we program it for, it'll do.
It's also linkable, it's going to be linkable to the website. So you can complain through the
Right.
website, there'll be a link, it'll send you to the cloud, and then
Right.
you'll fill out a form. The other thing here that we haven't mentioned yet, and I know Mark will appreciate this, because it's also accountability. So if I take on a problem and I don't get that resolved in a certain amount of time, it's going to send him a flag, and he's going to say, hey, why isn't this taken care of?
Oh,
So
fantastic.
there is accountability from departments all the way down to the
Right.
employees saying, hey, these things aren't getting taken care of in a timely manner.
And
So
the other-
that's-
the other benefit we saw is that we have a lot of projects that include multi-departments, like a water main leak may include the water department, wastewater, public works. And as the department heads send staff to assist, they can actually put them on the clock, and then at the end of a month, a year, whatever, they'll be able to see, we spent, 26 hours assisting the water department, or we spent 30 hours assisting the police department, whatever the case may be.
Oh.
So they can have a better idea of the usage of their manpower. We really do think it's going to modernize our operation, make us much more efficient.
When do you
Like that.
anticipate implementation? Putting it in.
After the first year.
Implementation?
That's the word I was looking for. Daylight savings, I'm going to blame it on that.
They call that go live on this program. The go live date would probably be about 3 months after signing
Right.
the documents. It's really going to determine on how fast we can get things input into the system.
And we'll give them access to Beacon so that they can just take our maps and move them over seamlessly.
Okay. Anything else from the council? All right. Since I didn't see a requisition or anything like that, proceed at this point.
I'm looking for a favorable vote to move forward with contract.
Do we need to suspend the rules?
No, it's not an ordinance, and so I think you'll be moving accordingly, but as long as we get a contract document so that we can review that to make sure the proper terms and different language like non-appropriation clause is in there, that should be fine. So I think if you take a vote to move forward with this, because I see that the quote is good until November 6th, so that's in 2 days from now, to give them notice that it is.
Oh, 2, sorry.
You had me really
Okay.
questioning my math there for a second. Wow. So as long as you give them notice that you're going to be moving forward, we just need the contract language to finalize it. I think you're fine.
Yeah, and one of the reasons the dates were put on here is because they base it off your population. So when the census comes out next year, this price is going to increase.
If we don't lock in.
Right.
Yeah, once we lock in, they won't increase it.
Sure.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the council? What would you like to do? Okay, this
Well,
is where
I'm-
you all would chime in and
I'm
say,
pretty
yeah, I like it or I
bashful.
don't.
I make a motion that we move forward with this proposal.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to move forward and a second. Further discussion? All right, all those in favor of moving forward signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we're moving forward.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate your time.
Lock in those times. Cool. Or dates, prices. All right, the next is MS Consulting Contracts, Clerk Treasurer and Town Manager.
So I'm presenting to you tonight a managing community operations agreement from MS Consultants. Huck Lewis and the prior town manager of Whitestown. Huck was the mayor of Lebanon, and they have formed a consulting company, and I've known Huck for 10 years. We've served on the AIM Medical Trust Board together, and he approached me about partnering with them for town administration and economic development. Mark and Lisa and I met with them, and we feel that they would be good for us for looking at our subdivision control ordinance and helping Lisa with that. And with bringing on the new council in January, they do some education on state statute and government guidelines, and we think it would be very beneficial for our new council and the whole management team to be involved in that. So I'll have Huck come up and answer any questions. And Mark, anything you have to add?
Thank you.
I don't know if Will or Mark needs one.
Well, first of all, as Jenny said, my name's Huck Lewis. I'm with MS Consultants. I want to give you a little history of MS, and then I'm going to have Dax talk about the nuts and bolts of what we do. First of all, MS has been in Indiana since 1998. Our corporate office is in Columbus, Ohio. We are a full-service civil engineering firm, and I want to say we're not here tonight to disturb any relationship you have with any other consulting firm. That's not what we do. If later on down the road you would say, hey, we want you to look at a project, we'd be honored to do that. But that's not why we're here tonight. We're here tonight to talk strictly about town management consulting and economic development. Now, we're a large civil engineering firm. We're in 5 different states. We have 450 employees total. And I did put a brochure in. You can see about the corporation. We offer many services. This is one of the services that we offer. And Dax and I are here tonight to talk about town management and economic. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dax and let him talk about the nuts and bolts of the program.
Mr. President, members of the council, my name is Dax Norton, and I lost my hair doing it. Sit in Mark's seat in the town of Whitestown, fastest growing community in the state for believe the eighth year in a row now. Population is approaching the same size as Danville. Prior to that, I've been in economic development since 2003, and that's really my area of expertise, if you will. Briefly ran for political office in the city of Bloomington, which grew me up really quickly. So what we did was, in January, created a program at MS Consultants to kind of expand away from just being an engineering firm and really enhance the planning side of MS Consultants and what programs the planning side. One of those was municipal operations and economic development. So what does that mean? Our initial client list was those towns, and there are about 500 of them in Indiana that don't have any town management. They have a 3 or 5 member council. They're all part-time, and then by day you have a utility superintendent and maybe a town marshal. Nobody there to really watch the day-to-day operations from a development perspective. I will tell you that the program, we now have 3 clients that are under contract full-time, and 1 client, Crawford County, who we're doing some work on the side for Crawford County, and the majority of those contracts have really turned into an economic development strategic directions program. And what do I mean by strategic directions? We're the town of Nashville, Indiana. We're their strategic direction and economic development consultant. So I go down 1 day a week. Sometimes I'm there 2. Sometimes I'm there 3. Taking the council through right now there's 2 things we're doing. Taking the council through a program that really is helping the council become a proactive driving an agenda for strategic direction and economic development for the future of the town of Nashville. They really hadn't had that before. I can tell you that if you called any of them, they'd probably tell you they enjoy the program. We're in stage 2 or 3 of that project. We also are helping them with an economic reinvestment plan. So many communities in Indiana haven't really figured out why they exist economically, how they're going to grow that. So some branding. But it's worked out very well. One of your peers to the north, Jamestown, we're their municipal operations advisor. Montpelier, we're their economic development consultant. Then doing some opportunity zone economic development consulting in Crawford County, and also talking to a community in Grant County at this point. So the program was new in January, really kind of taken off a little bit quicker than we thought it would. And we originally came over, we just talked about what community development. I don't even think Mark was necessarily, I don't know if you were in the position at that point. So we had talked about the strategic direction of consulting with the council and then the community and economic development consulting, really looking at, instead of, what happens is, and I've been on your side of this, is that a consultant comes in, charges you $100,000, gives you an economic development strategic plan in a binder, and then they leave. You don't see it from them again. This program really is, can you have somebody stay, be there all the time, facilitate that program and that plan, help you develop that plan internally, and then on a day-to-day basis, if there's calls that need to be made or points of contact, really help with that future 20 and 30-year direction for economic and community development. So this program is multiple different things, anywhere from municipal operations, which I wouldn't see. You've already got your town manager. Jamestown did not, so that's why we're kind of in that role there, to strategic direction and economic development consulting, which the town of Nashville really embraced, and I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. Take their council, I'm with their council a lot, taking them through a 5-6 step program, and it's really been eye-opening, and it's actually been kind of fun. I think the council's had a lot of fun doing it as well. So that's this program in a nutshell. It's more a addition to our planning services, and has been received much more quickly and a little better than I thought it would.
Any questions? Thank you very much. All right, we'll mark this as introduced, and for further discussion later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Huntington Host Future Fund Investment Account.
In your packet is the third quarter Huntington investment account statements. I'm just presenting them to you for your records. I had a conference call with Huntington Bank this afternoon to go over some questions that we had about the statement. We're going to look at comparing layouts. Huntington Bank will come out and meet with the Board of Finance in December, and we're going to look at having a different layout that's easier and more elementary for us to understand. This gets very complex on the different funds and trading in cash versus principal and those type of things. And we asked them to start showing fees only on the principal. Right now, it shows on the principal and interest in these statements, and we would like to, it gets confusing, so we just want to start seeing this in the principal. So this is just for your records. We continue to grow every quarter. We're very pleased with the investments and where we are. And do you guys have any questions? Okay,
You're doing a great job. Thank you.
thank you.
Ordinance 32, 2019, food and beverage tax. Clerk Treasurer, oh, you're on a roll tonight.
I am on a roll.
Ordinance 33.
Ordinance 33, did I say 32? Yes, sir. Wow, I am. All right, my apologies. I am blaming it on daylight savings.
Yes, sir.
Hard to adjust.
So this ordinance will allow myself to establish a food and beverage fund along with revenue and ordinance expenditure and revenue codes so that when we start receiving the food and beverage revenue in, which should start coming in this month, we can allocate it towards expenditures for 2020. So by state statute, we have to have approval via ordinance to establish the fund and for revenue and expenditure. So I'm presenting this, asking you to suspend the rules tonight so that I can go ahead this week and set the fund up, and hopefully it will start coming in very soon.
Okay, so what's the pleasure of the council? Shall we suspend the rules? Motion.
The motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you. We have a motion to suspend and a second. Further discussion. All those in favor of suspending rules signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, rules have been suspended. We've suspended them. Let's take some action.
Did we make a motion?
Yes, we do. If you want one. If you want to accept this.
Second, yeah. Did we get a second?
No, it hasn't even been motioned yet.
Make a motion that we accept ordinance number 33, 2019, as it relates to the Food and Beverage Act fund that we developed.
I have a motion to approve ordinance number 33, 2019. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Further discussion?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Second. All those in favor of ordinance number 33, 2019, an ordinance establishing a food and beverage tax receipt fund signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's not stop here. Let's have a little more clerk treasurer fun.
Okay, so I think, Gary, are you in the audience? Do you want to come forth? Gary built a home, he and his wife, in Wellington addition this summer, and they closed on it. And as you guys are aware, the subdivision has sprinklers. And we had an unusually hot September and October, and he was watering his yard. Our sprinkler ordinance that we adopted, which you guys have in your packet, only goes until the end of July, and for us to make adjustments on the sewer. Since he closed on his house after the deadline, he didn't have the opportunity to sign up for the sprinkler rate. This is the same as the gentleman that we have on the next adjustment math. So I'm asking for the council to adjust the sewer portion. Jerry has given us his blessing to lower his bills and for him to just pay for the sprinkler.
Discussion for the council.
Would you clarify the the policy that we have currently and whether or not that needs to be continued or modified in some form as we move down the road?
So currently, we offer the sprinkler rate from April to July, correct, Courtney? Am I- Okay. So next year, I will be present, we do need to absolutely review it. I mean, we're having a lot of development. We have 2 new communities that will be coming in next year. We definitely do need to look at it and revise it. At the time, you know, we didn't have a sprinkler adjustment ordinance in place, and we were going with looking at customers and usage, and it seemed to be the best fit and timing at the time. But we definitely need to look at doing something different. And we didn't really have any additions that had sprinklers installed, and so we're seeing more and more of that. So I will present that next year. We'll look at the ordinance and changing the dates and how the bills are adjusted as well.
Were you made aware by the developer or the builder when you made your contract on your house about the sprinkler system and the permit and the change and all of that?
No.
Okay.
A neighbor told me that I should apply for this waiver. And so when I called to change the name from the developer to my name, I asked, and I was told, I think his name was Seth, that I missed the deadline by 15 days. And I had no idea what the impact of my sprinkler system was going to be on my bill. I mean, I've never had that. And I did a calculation after the fact, and that, while I used 83,000 gallons of water in 1 month, I have green grass, but, you know, I had no idea.
It's a little expensive for that grass?
It was, but if I didn't, the grass would have all died, and that was thousands of dollars worth of sod. And I didn't even control it. The sprinkler guy said, leave it alone, I'll set it, and off it goes. And so, you know, it came on 3 times a day, and each head pumped out 25 gallons of water each time. It's a lot, at least calculation-wise, that's what it is. So anyway, I tried, and when I got my bill, I tried again, and, you know, I was told the same thing, sorry, but, no. That's my story.
Randy, go ahead.
No,
You go.
Randy.
Jerry, are you okay with this?
Yes, none of the water went into the sanitary sewer. I didn't have to treat it. Made the flat rate.
Jenny, are you okay with this?
I am.
Okay. And are you asking for a refund?
No, I haven't paid my bill yet.
So I told him, I advised him to hold off on paying his bill so that we could credit for
It's
his.
due today, if you want me.
Nobody tell Pauletta that. She'll lose her mind.
Okay, well, as I see it, we've had breakdowns in communication before. He's done this in good faith. Next year, obviously, it's got to get tightened up, but, you know, this is after the fact, and he has his checkbook out, so I'm willing to take that man's money. I think.
Instead of $400 for sewer, it would have been 45, I think.
Right, exactly.
So it's,
I can sympathize with that, and I understand, and I know that in good faith, that had you known that coming in, you might have adjusted your usage accordingly. Would that be a fair statement?
I would have, yes.
Okay.
Somewhat green instead of green, you know?
What's the pleasure of the council? Should we go ahead and accept this?
Make a motion, we approve the sprinkler rate adjustment for Gary and Diana.
All right, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second and a third. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, sir.
We
Jenny?
will call you Wednesday and we'll get you taken care of. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so the next one is the same thing, and they had a previous commitment tonight and they couldn't be here, but it's the exact same thing.
Okay. Same subdivision, or is this slightly different?
Yes.
Same subdivision?
Let me see, I'm not sure if
Ninth
they're,
Bridge, is that?
they are not, and they are in Wexford.
Okay. Irrigating.
This was in Wellington, and this one is in Wexford.
They were 300 each, so they want to go from 300 to the 45 or 46 cap.
You got
And
it.
you're okay with this as well?
Yes.
Jerry, you're okay with this as well? All right. What's the pleasure of the council on this one?
Motion for the rate adjustment.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the rate adjustment. Do I have a second? Got a second. Further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, make those adjustments. Jenny, can you
Thank
contact
you.
those?
Yes, we absolutely will. Thank you.
Great. Ordinance 31, 2019, an ordinance of town of Danville annexing territory to the town of Danville. I must recuse myself on this one because this is family property, so I will turn it over to Lisa and Tom.
Okay, this is, like Mike said, ordinance 31. This is the final step in the annexation process. So it is up for adoption. It's been through all the public hearing, and this goal study was adopted last month or a couple weeks ago, the last meeting. So it's just here for your approval.
Thoughts of the council?
Do it for you too.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 31, 2019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Have a vote. How many? Let's have a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion's passed.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, now we're on to Resolution 25, 2019, and fund transfer, Police Department.
Okay. This is just a request made by Jim Hilton to ensure that his accounts have sufficient funds until the end of the year. So I'm just asking, it's usual and customary this time of the year that we do this. And he has sufficient funds for the transfer.
Any questions?
Do you have any questions? We had a fire chief and a superintendent of public works that used to shift those funds around all the time, stretch them out, so this is.
Might have learned something from one of them.
I think it's a good, I think it's a good practice and a good use of the resources here. What's the pleasure of the council, or any more comments, I should say? Pleasure of the council, shall we go ahead and approve Resolution 25?
So moved.
Got a motion to approve Resolution 25, transfer of appropriations between major budget classifications. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, further discussion. Looks good on my end. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 25 passes.
Thank you.
And Center Township 2020 fire contract.
Mr. President, members of council, the Center Township trustee sends her regrets she could not be here tonight, so I'll be representing. I may have seen this contract once or twice over the last 19 years. This is the 2020 emergency services contract for emergency medical and fire protection. I've reviewed the contract. There are no changes in it other than the vehicles that are listed on pages 1 and 2. Everything else is the same, including the dollar amounts. And so I've come for you tonight. There'll be 2 copies that I've given to the clerk treasurer that will require your signature. One will stay with us and one will go to Center Township.
Any questions about the Center Township contract?
You stated this is pretty much the same contract you've
Yes.
dealt with for all these years?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
No
Dollar amount's the
changes?
same,
They're
except,
happy?
again, just the vehicles have changed and that's it.
right, what's the pleasure of the council? So we accept the Center Township contract. It's been signed by Center Township folks, so they like it.
I'll make a motion to accept the Center Township 2020 fire contract.
Motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting this contract signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Contract passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, public comment. Anything from the public tonight? Okay, around the horn.
Mr. President, I have a couple of things. I have an interlocal agreement between Hendricks County, the town of Brownsburg, the town of Danville, the town of Avon, and the town of Plainfield. This is something we've been doing for as long as pictometry's been in place, to be honest with you. We all share the cost. Hendricks County provides the burden of the cost, and then the municipalities help pay for the flights that go over. The pictometry is what basically takes the pictures of our boundaries, and then they put the property lines and everything in there. It has been signed by the county, the town of Avon, the town of Brownsburg, and it's now our turn. And and then after we do it, it'd be for the town of Plainfield. There are 3 flights. This is a 6-year agreement. The cost is almost the same as it's been over the last 6 years, I believe. It's $10,700 a year. We budget for this. It's in our pictometry line item. They'll do a flight in 2019, no flight in 2020, another flight in 2021, nothing in 22, and then a flight in 2023, no flight in 2024. But they still request, obviously, payments because they're doing the upgrades for the property lines.
Sure.
So if you approve this, it'll require your signature and then to be attested by the clerk treasurer.
All right. Discussion. Good idea, bad idea? We have money budgeted for it. Okay.
Is this better than a satellite?
As far as I know, I don't know how they work it, to be honest with you. I mean.
Yeah, I know you can buy a upgrade on your global maps and that, and scope in on an area and get a lot of detail.
Done by Beacon, and they've been in charge of our maps for, I'm not saying that's the right thing or wrong thing, just because they've been in charge for years, but, yep.
This is what my office uses. Sorry, I'm Nikki Lawson. I have my assessor hat on today. But no, this is what my office uses, and so all the images that you see on Beacon are what has been not flown otherwise with pictometry. So they have multiple cameras, they fly multiple angles, and so we have not only like the top picture, but it allows us to go 360 degrees around the property, which is very helpful for not just what we do in assessing, but I know that planning and building uses it, the health department uses it a lot. They use it for wells and septics, lots of different things. So this is a new contract. We have added some additional features that will be coming out. So some of our pictures are going to be extremely, so we were like a 1-inch pixel. I don't know all the verbiage. So for the last 3 years, we started out, our first flight was 3-inch, then we got a 1-inch. And so this flight, half of the county is going to be less than like a 1/4 inch. It's like amazing. You can see shingles coming off of the pictures. So it costs a little bit more money, but I think it will be very beneficial.
Thank you for that.
We use this program every day, no matter what department it is. Our department uses it for complaints when somebody says, my neighbor's not mowing their grass, then we're able to look on there, and we can actually see sometimes that the grass hasn't been cut. But yeah, I think every department utilizes it.
All right. Any other discussion? Seen those pictures? Very good. And it seems like it's uniform throughout the county.
What's the pleasure of council? Shall we go ahead and approve this $10,700 six-year contract? That's a yearly fee.
Yes, sir. Got any thoughts on that? Is it consensus, or do they need to vote on it? It's an interlocal agreement, what's been,
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, done. What else you got?
just some announcements. As you know, that you approved last year, the holiday ordinance, our Christmas gathering will be December the 19th. We have changed things a little bit. For years, this has been at the Fidel's. We're going to have it at the fairgrounds this year. We'll have it catered. Hours will be pretty much the same, but the format's going to be a little bit different than what we've done.
Can I get a to-go order? Because I'll be giving finals that day.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And then on December the 20th, a Friday, at the Blanton House, we'll be holding a retirement soiree for Superintendent Russell. He's announced his retirement, and so from 4 to 6, and we'll put out announcements and invitations. But on December the 20th, from 4 to 6, at the Blanton House, we'll have a retirement gala for Jimmy.
Well earned.
Great. That's all I have.
Will, you got anything?
Yeah, I have one park thing. Saturday, November 9th at 10:30 a.m., we're dedicating Brett Pope.
Oh, very good.
So if you want to come out and celebrate all these things, feel free to.
I did have one other thing. I sent you all an email, possibility of having an executive session. Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Reference possible litigation?
How soon do you want this? ASAP or?
They did not provide a timeline. This has been on the books for a long time. So I don't know that it needs to be done tomorrow.
Wow, I was thinking if we had an executive session before our next council meeting.
Sounds
If
great
that
to me.
works with everybody's schedule. Works with mine, but
So you want to have it on the 18th then?
are we good with that? Council seems to be good with that.
Okay.
I just don't know how much time we're gonna need.
I know you haven't had a chance to review it yet, but I wouldn't think it'd be more than an hour.
I can't think that it would get anywhere close to an hour. My guess is that 30 minutes should be sufficient for the council's.
How long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes? Okay. Set it up so, does that work? Okay, let's do it.
6:30 on the 18th.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great. Jimmy, you got anything? Okay, Jerry? Fire, police? Okay, attorneys, anything? Counselors? All right. Jenny?
I would like to schedule a host budget meeting, work study I'm looking at December 16th at 5:30. Before that council meeting. That will give the department heads and myself time to review, and the new council will be invited as well. So that we can at least have the host budget set for 2020 so that I can meet the deadlines of December 31st to have it all into our accounting software.
Work with you guys? Okay, good, you got it.
Okay, and then we are planning Wednesday, December 18th to have an open house for Mike Nilsson. He's retiring from the council. And it will be here at the town hall in the gymnasium.
Oh, not at the
We were going to have it at the Blanton House, but we've decided to have it here from 4 to 7 p.m. And I'll send out invitations and we'll have it on Facebook and everywhere else. But Wednesday, December 16th. Wednesday, December 18th. I'm sorry, the work studies Monday. We're going to be busy that week.
Yeah. Might as well just stay here.
We have something every night.
Take 2 days off and just stay here.
Yeah.
It's an inside joke with the Blanton house, that at one point in time, it was up for sale, and I had Doug Gully interested in, or Phil Gully interested in it, and I thought we could sell it for about $300,000 and get that money coming in, but I was a minority vote on that particular gem, and it's just been a delight ever since. Not giving us one iota of problems. So it would have been very ironic had it been there, so thank you very much for not doing that.
Yeah,
Anything else?
that's it.
Jim.
All from me.
Yes, who won the superhero chili cook-off yesterday? Really? All right, thanks. Who won it? It was a chili cook-off at the fairgrounds.
Susie's Place.
Superheroes.
Yeah, Susie's Place won the, both cupcake and
Oh.
soup and chili.
Oh.
Yep.
There was some fine chili.
Yep.
Yes.
Dennis?
A lot of people commented with the chatter and everything about the, what is it, 50 North Mark, Money Lane, up from the park to get to
Oh,
Sycamore.
Yeah.
And it was on our list to do. It's going to cost us a great deal of money, and we're fortunate enough that Lisa Ternay and Mark Morgan and Ray Whitaker sat down with the county, and we were able to let them know that, hey, we've been plowing this road for quite some time, but it's actually your road. So by the three of them sitting down with the county, as a town, we were able to get this accomplished this year and save our citizens and taxpayers over $250,000. So thank you to the three of you guys. It was great work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Chris?
Vote tomorrow.
Anything else? That's it? Okay. First of all, congratulations to Danville football. They won their sectional game. They play again Friday night against Ritter. The Danville competitive cheerleaders, won state, I believe. So that would, they're going to the finals. Thank you. Okay. As Chris said, make sure you vote. This was a very important vote for the town council. There's something else on there, but I don't remember which, because I'm focusing in on the clerk treasurer and the town council races. And lastly, November 11th is Veterans Day. Thank a veteran. All right? Yeah, not anymore. Claim docket.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve the claim docket. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? I have got a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are closed.